The Eagles return to action here on the road in Anderson, South Carolina for another South Atlantic Conference road contest right here on the Eagles Sports Network. Ryan Wilkes taking you through all your coverage of this matchup between the Eagles and the Trojans, one of two teams of Carson-Newman's playing against the Trojans this afternoon. The Eagles look to bounce back after a doubleheader loss at the hands of the Wingate Bulldogs. Just a couple days ago, Carson-Newman fell the Bulldogs in run rule fashion twice as the Eagles look to bounce back today. Carson-Newman coming in at 17-9, 4-2 in the South Atlantic Conference, and the Eagles will lead things off with Hayden Dye at the dish to start today's contest. Sarah DePaula is the arm on the mound for the Anderson Trojans. Is the first pitch home to Dye is a called strike, and the count 0-1. DePaula just getting her fourth start on the season. She's got an 8.20 ERA on the year. Anderson pitching staff that's right behind Carson-Newman in terms of team ERA. As the next pitch home to Dye is a ball. The count evens at a ball and a strike. Carson-Newman in the orange uniforms today. The Lady Eagles 12-1 in this uniform combination this season. The only loss was in the second game of two in Johnson City as Dye rips the next pitch left side and through. A leadoff single. Good piece of hitting from Hayden Dye. Saw it a couple times at Wingate as Dye reaches to start the ball game. Mari Robbins to step in for the Eagles with a runner on first and nobody out. The Eagles had a handful of opportunities against Wingate on Wednesday against the Bulldogs. Just couldn't convert early on as Robbins lays down a nice bunt. DePaula scoops throw to first in time to get Robbins, but it moves Dye to second. A productive first down off the bat of Mari Robbins. And there's one down with Dye now in scoring position. I'll bring in Macaulay Bailey, the all-time Carson-Newman leader in home runs. She has 38 on her career, and she'll stand in for the first time this afternoon. Runner on second, one away for the Carson-Newman offense. Here in the top half of the first, Anderson, the white uniforms with the black lettering and numbering as Bailey rips it left side and foul. Carson-Newman women's basketball taking on the Trojans in the Southeast Regional, trying to avenge the loss to Anderson in the South Atlantic Conference Tournament, and so far so good for the Eagles, leading by 18 with 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. What a win that would be for Carson-Newman to advance over a team it just lost to in the SAC tournament. It's the next pitch to Bailey, taken off the plate for ball one. Dye on second. She singled and then was moved over to second on a sacrifice bunt from Mari Robbins. As the right-handed DePaula takes a look at her wrist. 23 1/3 innings of work for DePaula so far this year. She deals the next pitch off the plate again. Ball two. Anderson's team ERA 6.76. DePaula's ERA 10.55 on the year. So Eagles struggle to get going offensively at Wingate, trying to change their fortunes today in a big South Atlantic Conference doubleheader at Anderson. The next pitch is popped foul behind the dish, and the count's 2-2. The all-time series between Carson-Newman and Anderson is a 63rd and 64th meeting set to take place today. The Eagles lead the all-time series 40-21, but Anderson's won the last 5, 2 wins in last year's South Atlantic Conference Tournament here at the Anderson Softball Complex. Is a 2-2 to Bailey. She waits on it and fouls it off to the netting, and the count remains 2-2. Santana Anderson is on deck for the Eagles. Brooklyn Lucero in the hole for Carson-Newman here in the top of the first. The right-handed DePaula looks at her wrist. Rocks fires home the next 2-2. It's up and outside. Ball three. Go to that bat from Bailey here with a runner on second and one away. She's fought off a couple pitches she didn't like. And she's looking to work her way aboard here with one down in the top of the first inning. The payoff pitch home. Bailey clubs it to right, tailing down the line. Is it fair? Yes, it is. Dye heading for third. She'll stop right there in a late jump as Bailey pulls up at second with a one-out double. A great at-bat from Macaulay Bailey as she takes it opposite field, finds the chalk in right field, and the Eagles are in business with one away. Second and third for Carson-Newman as Dye stops at third base. And Anderson will stand in with two runners in scoring position. First pitch home from DePaula is at the top of the zone for a called strike. Looking around the Anderson defense, at first base, Lauren Brockovic. At second is Paige Vickery. Shortstop, Jenna Davis, the top hitter in the Anderson order. Third base is Maggie Knock. And in the outfield, it's Maddie Carpenter in right, Cadence Barrick in center, and Shelby Bant in left. Next pitch fouled off by Anderson. The count 0-2. Carson-Newman looking to take advantage of this scenario in the top of the first inning. Bailey on second, Dye on third. 2 hits in the frame for Carson-Newman. As right-hander DePaula looks home. Rocks fires a 0-2 to Anderson. It's upstairs and outside. And the count moves a ball and 2 strikes. We'll keep an eye on that Carson-Newman women's basketball game. Keep you posted on that as we go throughout today's action. Anderson, since we last updated it, has cut the deficit to 10. 8-0 run for the Trojans in Dahlonega. Next pitch to Anderson. She fouls it back, and the count remains a ball and 2 strikes. Carson-Newman men's basketball will be in action tomorrow afternoon, 3 o'clock tip, between the 8th-seeded Eagles and the top seed Columbus State in Columbus, Georgia. Adam Cavalier will have your call right here on the Eagles Sports Network. As Anderson here on a 1-2 count, 2 in scoring position. The next pitch home, Anderson skies it high to shallow left. Bant charging in, but it'll be the shortstop Davis to take care of it in shallow left for the second out. Big out for DePaula on the Anderson defense. A shallow fly ball that doesn't allow any advancement. And now there's 2 away for Brooklyn Lucero. Lucero's been on a tear, 3 home runs in the last 4 games. 4 in the last 4 games. She had a 3-homer day against Lincoln Memorial. Hit a solo shot against Wingate in Game 2. As the first pitch home to Brooklyn, she swings and misses behind the heater from DePaula, and the count 0-1. Brooklyn, the reigning South Atlantic Conference Player of the Week, the 3rd Offensive Player of the Week the Eagles have had. Macaulay Bailey won it in the first week of the season. Hayden Dye about midway through. Now Brooklyn Lucero joins the list. As a 0-1 pitch home to her. Paints the outer edge, and it's 0-2. Eagles in danger of stranding 2 here in the first. Lucero down 0-2 in the count. And DePaula looking to tiptoe out of this top of the first inning. The righty looks at her wrist, toes the slab, rocks, fires the 0-2. It's upstairs and outside. Ball 1. Do have some changes defensively for the Eagles in the absence of Sienna Cameron. We'll talk about those when the Eagles come out defensively. A little bit of an interesting look for Carson-Newman today. As Lucero here in a 1-2 count. Bailey and Dye still on second and third. The 1-2 home. Lucero fouls it off to the right side. And the count remains 1-2. Lucero looking to come through here in a big spot. Be the first time now in 3 games that Carson-Newman's able to crack the run column first. Wingate scored first in both contests in Wingate, North Carolina. As DePaula leans, fires a 1-2. Lucero waits on it, fouls it off again to the right side. A good at-bat here from Lucero, and the count remains a ball and 2 strikes. The Eagles have done a good job on DePaula's pitch count here in the first, now working it over 20 pitches in the top of the first inning. 2 hits in the frame, a Bailey double and a Dye single to start us off as Lucero rockets the next pitch left side, but foul towards the Anderson batting cages down the left field line. Anderson, when it comes to the plate, will lead things off with Jenna Davis, Shelby Bant, and Maddie Carpenter for the host, the Anderson Trojans. Anderson ended Carson-Newman's season last year with a 16-0 run rule victory. The Trojans had to win 2 that day over the Eagles, and they did so. Here, the Anderson Softball Complex is the next 1-2 home. Lucero dribbles it left side, backhand throw to first in time for the third out. Nice play at the third base bag by Maggie Knock, and the Eagles strand 2 in the top of the first. Well, to the bottom half, no score right here on the Eagles Sports Network.
Is open Monday through Friday for lunch and dinner, and the Sciences Building. Sabarrios features all
basketball and Taylor Hawkins. I want to help your family secure its financial future. I'm with Modern Woodman Financial Planning, where we touch lives and secure futures. Let Modern Woodman protect your family's financial security through life insurance, retirement planning, and financial services. You can contact me, Taylor Hawkins, at cneagles.com/Modern Woodman. That's cneagles.com/Modern Woodman. Help secure your family's financial future through Modern Woodman Financial Planning.
Back here on the Eagle Sports Network, Carson-Newman down scoreless in the top of the first despite having runners on second and third. The Eagles unable to convert, and Anderson will have its first turn at the plate with the bases empty and nobody out. It's Jenna Davis, the top hitter in the Anderson order, hitting .427 to face off with Sierra Rogers. First pitch home is a fastball that clips the bottom of the zone. The count 0-1. The right side of the infield remains similar. It's Lucero at first, Dye at second. The change in the infield is Santana Anderson getting her first start at short as Rogers deals a 0-1 pitch just off the plate, and the count evens at a ball and a strike. Bailey's back at third. Bailey Worley getting her first start of the 2025 campaign behind the dish for Carson-Newman. Kennedy Warder in the outfield today in right. Abby Martin's in center, and Addie Saunders is in left. Davis slaps the next pitch left side. The count moves a ball and 2 strikes. Beautiful day here in Anderson, South Carolina. Slight breeze moving in towards home plate as the count of ball and 2 strikes on the lefty slapper Jenna Davis. Bases empty, nobody out for the Trojans. Here in the bottom half of the first, 1-2 home from Rogers is fouled off to the right side again, and Davis stays alive. Again, Davis, Bant, and Carpenter, 2 up for the Trojans. 3 of the 4 hitters in the order hitting above 300 this year. Davis, the only one hitting above 400 for a team that hits .313 as a team. As the next 1-2 home from Rogers is in the turf, and the count evens at 2-2. It's been a tough start to the year for the Trojans in the South Atlantic Conference, 1-5 in SAC play. The lone win came against Newberry in a doubleheader split just a couple days ago. As Rogers deals a 2-2, it's low and outside, ball 3. Full count to start the day for Anderson at the plate. As Bant looks to reach. Davis at the plate looks to reach with Bant on deck. As Rogers takes her time, steps off the rubber. Now re-engages. Rocks fires the payoff. This one's chopped back up the middle. Dye gets a piece of it, but it trickles into center for a leadoff single. So now both teams have led off with a single. Dye in the first, and the Eagles half of the first. Now Davis does so here in the home half. So Shelby Bant will step in from the left side. Another lefty to start off today. As Rogers rocks, fires, a bunt laid down by Bant right down the third baseline. Bailey waits on it to see if it was going to trickle foul. It does not, and Bant reaches on a bunt single. So now first and second for Anderson, nobody out. And it's Maddie Carpenter to stand in. Not a bad idea for Bailey to see and wait if that one was going to trickle foul. but it kind of died on the third base line and allowed Bant to reach first. So here's Carpenter. Runners on first and second, nobody out. Good scenario for Anderson here in the home half of the first. Carpenter squares to bunt. She pulls back. Davis off the bag at second, but nobody covering with Bailey charging in. And the ball's in the turf. Counts a ball and no strikes. Update from Dahlonega. Anderson has outscored Carson-Newman by 17 points since the last time we checked in. It's a 1-point game with the fourth quarter just underway. The 1-0 home is a bunt, popped to the right side and foul. This count evens at 1-1. Anderson seems pretty content to try and manufacture some runs off of Sierra Rogers, with both Carpenter and Bant showing bunt in the last two at-bats. As Carpenter stands back in. Bant on first. Davis on second. Carpenter squares to bunt again. Bunts it foul. And now likely going to swing away in a 1-2 count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody out. Rogers looking for a big out, number 1. With Cadence Barrick standing on deck. The 1-2. It's fouled off as Carpenter stays alive by just getting a piece. Sierra Rogers coming into this start, a 4.14 ERA, 7-3 record on the season. The lone loss, or the third loss, came at Wingate. As the next pitch home, Carpenter able to get a piece to stay alive, and the count remains 1-2. Rogers now 11th start on the year. Pitching her 51st inning of work in her senior season. The senior out of Graysville, Tennessee. Will also get some cuts in the box today. She's been a really productive offensive piece as the 1-2 is ripped right side and foul. So Carpenter working a nice at-bat here with nobody out. And runners on first and second for the Trojans here in the bottom of the first. Rogers rocks, fires the next 1-2. Carpenter fouls it off. And the count remains a ball and 2 strikes. A really nice at-bat here from Maddie Carpenter. With runners on first and second and nobody out. Rogers re-engages with the slab. Leans, fires the next 1-2. It's off the plate. And the count evens at 2-2. Good eye from Carpenter there in a 1-2 count. The fourth hitter in Anderson's order in terms of batting average, hitting .316 on the year. 3 home runs and 19 RBIs for her. The next 2-2 is popped foul behind the dish. And the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. A really lengthy at-bat here between Rogers and Carpenter. After the first 2 Trojans reach a single for Davis and a bunt single for Bant, allow the first 2 Trojans to reach. The 2-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Huge pitch for Sierra Rogers. The table dropped out of that one, and she gets Carpenter to offer over the top, and there's 1 down. You're wondering if that at-bat was ever going to end, as it was over a 10-pitch at-bat with Maddie Carpenter that ends in a Rogers strikeout. Actually, 10 pitches on the dot. It's the first pitch home to Barrick. It is off the plate for ball 1. That's Rogers' 53rd strikeout of the year as she fans Carpenter to keep the runners on first and second. It's Rogers rocks, fires a 1-0. Barrick, I believe, fouled it off the handle. And the count moves a ball and a strike. Keep it posted on Carson-Newman women's basketball. That game has turned pretty quickly. The Eagles led by 18 midway through the third. Now it's a 3-point game. Still in favor of the Eagles, but Anderson has obviously made a surge to try and keep its season alive after winning the South Atlantic Conference in Rock Hill, South Carolina. The 1-1 home to Barrick. She lifts it high to center. Abby Martin will take a couple steps in and make the play for out number 2. Looked like that ball was hit pretty well out to center, but again, the wind blowing in today. I believe it's been blowing out for every other game that we've had this year. But it blows the ball back in. Martin able to take a couple steps in and make the play for the big second out. So here's Lauren Brakovic with 2 away. Runner still on first and second. First pitch to Brakovic is upstairs for ball 1. Nice job by Rogers to respond after the first 2 Trojans reached. She got Carpenter on a lengthy at-bat strikeout. And then a shallow fly ball off the bat of Barrick. So the next pitch home is high. Count moves 2 balls and no strikes. Anderson is 15-13 on the year, but again, just 1-5 in South Atlantic Conference play. The offense ranks middle of the league, averaging batting average of .313. As the 2-0 home is popped up off the handle of the bat and foul, and the count moves 2 balls and a strike. One thing Anderson struggled to do this year is really find that consistent arm in the circle. They do have the league's leader in strikeouts, Katie Morris, also the team leader in ERA. 78 strikeouts on the season for Morris and a 4.38 ERA. We'll see if we see her in game number 2. The 2-1 home from Rogers is downstairs. Worley able to keep it in front and hold both runners at their respective bags, but now a 3-1 count. To Lauren Brakovic with 2 away. Rogers takes a long pause off the circle. Now stands back in. A 3-1 pitch home. Brakovic takes up and in. Ball 4. Bases loaded as Bant trots to second. Davis to third. And Paige Vickery will stand in with the bases loaded and 2 down. Vickery, a .278 hitter on the season. She started all 28 games for the Trojans. As Rogers rocks, fires, first pitch to Vickery, down low, good block by Worley to hold Davis at third. Pretty shallow backstops here at the Anderson Softball Complex, but still important with a speedy runner on third to keep that ball in front, and Worley did a great job to keep that one within reach. So count a ball and no strikes. Vickery leans, fires home, and it's upstairs for ball 2. Rogers looking for a scoreless first, but a bit of a jam with 2 away. Runners on every bag. Davis on third, Bant on second, and Brakovic on third, or first. The 2-0 home to Vickery. She watches it high. Ball 3. Hitters count for Paige Vickery with 2 down. Nowhere to put her. And the base is juiced here in the home half of the first inning. Anderson looking to strike first against Carson-Newman. It will be the 5th consecutive game where the Eagles have surrendered the game's first run. The 3-0 is on the inner half for a called strike, and the count 3-1. Rogers looking to work her way back in this count. Get Carson-Newman back to the plate. It was a productive first inning in the hit column for the Eagles. 2 hits, but no runs to show for it as the 3-1 home to Vickery is skied high to center, playable for Abby Martin, who takes a couple steps in and makes the play for out number 3. The first 2 Trojans reach, but Rogers gets 3 of the next 4 to come the plate, and the Eagles deal a scoreless bottom of the first. Back for the top of the second, Carson-Newman looks to strike first right here on the Eagles Sports Network.
At InterDigital, we strive to be a leading provider of cutting-edge digital and marketing solutions. At InterDigital, we want to help our clients find success. Our team of technology gurus work together to ensure InterDigital continues to progress forward as technology advances. At InterDigital, we make technology work for you. Visit InterDigital.com for IT support, web development, virtual tours, graphic design, internet marketing, mobile app, and film production services.
InterDigital, laser focused on your success.
We love to cheer for our home teams, like the Eagles. It means more when we're rooting for the people we know. Did you know Tri-Lite is your home team internet provider? We're right here in Jefferson City, serving the people we know with our ultra-fast, ultra-reliable fiber broadband network. And we'd love to serve you. Learn more at trilite.net or by calling 833-847-0824. Go Eagles!
Back here on the Eagles Sports Network, Carson-Newman back to the dish after a scoreless first inning on both sides as DePaula back out in the circle for Anderson. Bases empty, nobody out, dealing with Sierra Rogers, who dealt a scoreless first despite some traffic on the base pass. She takes the first pitch high for ball one. The count, a ball and no strikes. Carson-Newman looking to get on the board first. It'll be the first time in 5 games that the Eagles have been able to do so. As the next pitch home to Rogers is high, ball 2. Good eye from Sierra Rogers, who's been an impact player for Carson-Newman, both in the circle and at the plate for the Eagles in this stretch where the Eagles have won 8 of their last 10. 2 losses came at Wingate on Wednesday afternoon. The 2-0 is high, ball 3. Three balls and no strikes to Rogers. DePaula dips and fires. Rogers takes all the way for a called strike. And the count is 3-1. Rogers looking to reach to start the second. Carson-Newman had Hayden Dye, the leadoff hitter, reaching the first. As a 3-1 home to Rogers. She clubs it to left, but it's tailing foul. So now the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes on Sierra Rogers. And she's been strong at the plate for Carson-Newman lately. She's hit 5 home runs this season, had 1 against Wingate on Wednesday. Started out pretty much as just a pitcher for the Eagles, but here recently, Michael Graves has given her a chance in the box, and she's capitalized on that. Certainly a talented hitter, talented in both the circle and in the box for the Eagles this year. As DePaula dips, fires a 3-2. It's popped up high in the sky right side. Brakovic over on it, and she makes a play in front of the Carson-Newman dugout for out number 1. Here's Kennedy Warder for her first at-bat of the day as DePaula works her way back into the count and retires Rogers for the first out. Kennedy Warder, one of the home run hitters in the loss to Wingate. It was the last home run of 3 that the Eagles hit against the Bulldogs. First pitch home to her. She rockets it right side and through the right side of the infield for a base hit. Good piece of hitting from Kennedy Warder to take it the other way, and the Eagles have a 1-out base runner. Carpenter was trying to get her coming to first on a ball that was hit pretty hard to right field. Certainly was a play there, but Warder hustled and got there in time. Addie Saunders, a freshman out of Radford, Virginia, stands in from the left side. She had a pair of hits in Game 2 against Wingate. She awaits the first pitch home downstairs for ball 1. Head coach Michael Graves very high on his talented freshman, who is now getting her 4th start on the season. Got her 3rd against Wingate. It was a productive one. She hit 2 singles in 3 at-bats as the 1-0 home to Saunders is upstairs. Ball 2. Warder on first after the 1-out single. Addie Saunders in the box for Carson-Newman with 1 away. With Abby Martin standing on deck, she'll round out the first trip through the Eagle order. Righty rocks, fires a 2-0 home. Saunders watches it high. Rogers takes off for second, and the throw is high. Warder steals second, and she's into scoring position. fourth stolen base and as many tries for Kennedy Warder. She doesn't take off often, but when she does, it's resulted in success for Carson-Newman this season. She's in scoring position with one away for Saunders and a 3-0 count. 3-0 pitch home. Saunders clubs it foul. The green light in the 3-0 count. She fouls it back. And the count's 3 balls and a strike. Saunders an opportunity here with a runner in scoring position. And one away in a scoreless contest between Carson-Newman and Anderson. No runs on 3 hits for the Eagles. No runs on 2 hits for the Trojans. Next pitch home. Saunders loops it into shallow center. Davis takes a couple steps back and makes the play for out number 2. Again, on a day where the wind's blowing out, that ball might find no man's land in shallow center. But today, the wind keeping the ball in the infield on shallow pop-ups like that. As Martin stands in from the right side with 2 away. Warder still on second. That's a pitch home to Martin. She watches it on the inner half for a called strike, and the count 0-1. Warder singled. She got in a scoring position on a stolen base with 1 away. The Saunders pop out gives the Anderson defense 2 outs here in the top of the second. Another scoring opportunity for the Eagles in the second inning. A 0-1 pitch home to Martin. She fouls it off. And the count is 0-2. Abby Martin, a .410 hitter on the season. Junior at Gadsden, Alabama, has really produced well in the 8-9 hole most of the year for Carson-Newman. As she awaits a 0-2 pitch. DePaula rocks, fires home. Martin watches it, just off the plate. Ball 1. Martin was on a good hitting streak leading up to the Wingate series. Had a hitting streak of 5 games, another hitting streak of 4 this season. As she awaits the 1-2, she washes it up and in, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good crowd on hand today for both sides. A very nice day here in Anderson, South Carolina. So we've been pretty fortunate with the weather lately. Fingers crossed that it holds up, and we're heading towards spring pretty quickly. As DePaula rocks, fires a 2-2 home to Martin. She skies it high right side, playable for the second baseman, and she takes care of it for out number 3. So the Eagles down scoreless as plays made by Paige Vickery at the second base hole. We head to the bottom of the second. Still no score between Carson-Newman and Anderson here on the Eagles Sports Network.
There's new fresh ideas on campus. From Chick-fil-A to Maples Coffee to Savario's, Fresh Ideas has tons of high-quality dining options for whatever taste you may need. Savario's is open Monday through Friday for lunch and dinner and the Health Sciences Building. Savario's features all your Mexican favorites, from burritos to nachos to quesadillas to tacos to anything you can think of in a tortilla. Follow Fresh Ideas on Instagram at Carson-Newman Dining.
This is Carson-Newman men's basketball alum Taylor Hawkins. I want to help your family secure its financial future. I'm with Modern Woodman Financial Planning, where we touch lives and secure futures. Let Modern Woodman protect your family's financial security through life insurance, retirement planning, and financial services. You can contact me, Taylor Hawkins, at cneagles.com/Modern Woodman. That's cneagles.com/Modern Woodman. Help secure your family's financial future through Modern Woodman Financial Planning.
No score here in Anderson, South Carolina, as the bottom of the second set to get underway between Carson-Newman and Anderson right here on the Eagle Sports Network. Ryan Wilkes taking through all your coverage of today's contest between the Eagles and the Trojans. Carson-Newman looking for some payback after ending the season here last year. As the first pitch from Rogers to knock a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Rogers with a scoreless first despite Anderson loading the bases with 2 outs as she deals the next pitch home to knock. It's upstairs and outside. Ball 1. So as promised, keep you updated on Carson-Newman and Anderson in women's basketball. Carson-Newman holding on to a 3-point lead late with 2:12 to play in Dahlonega, Georgia. The Eagles were up 18 earlier in that contest. The Trojans have obviously tighten the hatches as Knox swings and misses down low, and the count moves the ball in 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes, bases empty, nobody out for Knock, with Manis and Crosby due up 7, 8, and 9 for the Trojan offense here in the home half of the second. The 1-2 is skipped in the turf, and the count's 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes now to Knock. And talked about the changes in the Carson-Newman defense. So far, so good with Abby Martin, who played a large part of the season last year in center. She's back out there with the 2-2 home to Knock. Off the handle of the bat, Anderson makes the play at shortstop for out number 1. Right on cue, talking about those changes. Anderson getting her first start at shortstop. Saw some action late against Wingate. Yesterday, just walking around, you see the dedication from Santana Anderson, taking ground balls at the Vic, getting ready for this start at shortstop. She makes a nice play there for the first out. Here's Chloe Manis. She takes the first pitch off the plate for ball 1. The count, a ball and no strikes. Rogers gets the call from Worley behind the dish today. Her first start at catcher for Carson-Newman this season. The 1-0 is downstairs. And it's 2 balls and no strikes. Crosby stands on deck. She'll round out the first trip through the Trojan order with Jenna Davis 1 for 1 with a single in the hole. The 2-0. Low and inside. Ball 3. Rogers up to 39 pitches with 3 in this at-bat to Chloe Manis. And she looks to work her way back in the count. Down 3 balls and no strikes. She deals a 3-0 home. Pumps it in for a strike at the top of the zone. And the count's 3-1. Sometimes you just need to see that first strike cross the plate as Rogers deals it at the top of the zone. She tries to work her way back in this count. A 3-1 home. Manis takes it off her leg, and she'll reach. What a reach regardless, but she's plunked on a inside fastball, and she's aboard with 1 away. So 1 down now for the 9-hole hitting Cheney Crosby. Both teams scoreless so far, although there's been 5 hits between the two sides. Carson-Newman has 3 to Anderson's 2. As the lefty Cheney Crosby will stand in. Rogers takes a long peek at her wrist. Re-engages with the slab. Deals the first pitch home to Crosby. She fouls it off. And the count, 0-1. Top of the order, and Davis awaits on deck. 1 for 1 with that leadoff single in the bottom half of the first inning. As Rogers twirls the ball in her right hand, Rocks fires the 0-1. Crosby behind it on the fastball, and the count 0-2. Rogers looking for a big punch out here. She's got 1 on the day to her 1 walk where she hit Manis with the pitch inside. The 0-2 is low and outside. Good job by Worley to keep it in front. And the count moves 1-2. No advancement from the runner at first. So lefty stands back in. The 1-2 home from Sierra Rogers downstairs. And the count moves 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Runner on first, 1 away. As Rogers toes the slab. Lanes fires the 2-2. Outside, gets off the glove of Worley, and that'll allow the runner to race to second as Manis races to second base and is now in scoring position with 1 down. Count moves full at 3-2. Game's opening run standing on second for the Trojans. Second inning in a row that Anderson has had a runner in scoring position. As Rogers deals the payoff, fouled back, and the count remains full. Carson-Newman leads Anderson 71-69 on the women's floor in Dahlonega. 23 seconds left. Carson-Newman about to shoot a pair of free throws to try and put the game away and avenge a loss just a couple weeks ago to the Anderson Trojans in Rock Hill, South Carolina. As the next payoff home is fouled off the left side, and Cheney Crosby stays alive. Count remains full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 away. With Manis standing on second, she reached on a hit by pitch, advanced to second on a pass ball. Rogers prepares to deal the next big pitch in this at-bat. The next 3-2 home. Called strike 3. Got the inner black as Cheney Crosby down on strikes, and there's 2 away. The Anderson faithful didn't like that call, but it looks like Rogers got just enough of the plate to set down Crosby, and there's 2 away for Jenna Davis. First pitch home, the leadoff hitting Davis is low and inside. Davis takes, and the count of ball in, no strikes. Davis to lefty. She's 1 for 1 with a single today to lead off the bottom half of the Anderson first. Now stands back in for her second time at the plate. The 1-0 home. Davis takes downstairs. Ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. 2 away as Rogers looks for back-to-back scoreless frames to get the Eagle offense back to play. The Eagles have been able to get those runners in scoring position. Haven't broken through quite yet, but certainly Carson-Newman's offense not going down silent through the first 2 innings. The 2-0 was slapped foul behind the plate in the count. 2 balls and a strike. 2 on the count, 2 down, with Chloe Manis standing on second. Right-handed Rogers rocks, fires the 2-1 home to Davis. It skips in the turf. Worley blocks it up and holds Manis at second. Really nice play again from Bailey Worley, who's swallowed those balls in the turf up and has not allowed advancement. Besides that one pitch off the plate, she's been solid behind the dish in her first start here in 2025. The count, 3 balls and a strike on Davis. Shelby Bant standing on deck. The 3-1 home, slapped foul the left side, and the count moves full. Scoreboard full, 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here in Anderson's half of the second inning. As Davis prepares for the payoff offering from Sierra Rogers. The 3-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 3 strikeouts for Sierra Rogers, 2 in the second, and we head to the third. No score right here on the Eagle Sports Network.
Dorm food got you down? Need a home-cooked meal? Then Lisa's Country Kitchen is for you. Lisa's Country Kitchen has been feeding Carson-Newman students for 15 years. Lisa is a family-friendly atmosphere all day long. From the morning with her $2.99 breakfast specials to dinner with Lisa's fresh, never-frozen steaks. Carson-Newman students get a 10% discount with their student ID.
Lisa's Country Kitchen on Route 92 off Old Andrew Johnson Highway. The best food for the best prices.
Serving East Tennessee for 40 years, Magaha Electric is the perfect choice for all your electrical projects. Magaha Electric specializes in commercial, retail, manufacturing, residential, and industrial contracting needs. Magaha Electric can provide superior service, technical know-how, and realistic budgeting for any size project in a timely, cost-effective manner. Visit MagahaElectric.com for all your electrical contracting needs. Magaha Electric, your East Tennessee electrical contracting source.
Back here on the Eagle Sports Network, no score after Sierra Rogers strands a runner on second with 2 strikeouts to end the frame. We head to the top of the third. Carson-Newman back to the plate looking to get some more runners on and get them in. As Carson-Newman stranded a couple runners here early in today's contest. As Hayden Dye will stand back in for the second time, the leadoff hitter today for Carson-Newman. She stands in from the right side. We'll have an update for you in a second from Dahlonega. Got some good news for the Carson-Newman Lady Eagles. As DePaula leans, fires first pitch to Dye. She lifts it high to the right side, now to play. Into the parking lot, the count 0-1. So it looks like for the time being, Carson-Newman's going to hold on in Dahlonega over the Anderson Trojans 75-71 with 6 seconds to play. The Eagles just knocked down 2 free throws. It'll be tough now for the Trojans to overcome the 4-point deficit. The 0-1 home is in the turf. And the count's a ball and a strike. Top of the order for Carson-Newman, it's Dye, Robbins, and Bailey. For the Eagles, Dye 1 for 1 with a single to lead off the ball game. As the right-handed DePaula takes a look at her wrist. Rocks fires a 1-1 off-speed pitch that catches the outer corner for a called strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. DePaula's been solid so far. She's bent, but she hasn't broke quite yet. 3 hits allowed. She hasn't allowed an earned run yet. Nobody scored yet in this contest between Anderson and Carson-Newman. As a 1-2 home to Dye. She watches it off the plate. Ball 2. Good eye from Hayden Dye, the senior to Knoxville, Tennessee. So right-handed DePaula rocks, steals the 2-2 home to Dye. She lifts it right side, now to play. We've seen days where the ball has sailed out of the yard, especially in Wingate, where that jet stream turned to even more of one with the wind gusting out towards center field today. Not necessarily the case, as the wind has changed directions a little bit, blowing out towards right field now, but it was blowing in to start the game, and it certainly played an impact on some fly balls to center. The next 2-2 to Dye. She rips it deep to center, going back, the track, the wall. It's off the base of the wall. Dye races for second, dives in with a leadoff double. Again, a ball that was maybe kept in the yard by the wind. Nonetheless, Hayden Dye in scoring position with nobody out. An absolute rocket off the bat of Hayden. If you're a bet man, you'd say that one was probably going to leave. But it stays in the yard. And Dye puts a duck on the pond for Carson-Newman. Mari Robbins now in from the right side, with Dye standing on second and nobody out. First pitch home from DePaula. Robbins squares to bunt, lays a nice one down in front of the circle. DePaula scoops, throws, not in time, as Mari Robbins legs it out. Hayden Dye advances to third, and runners are on the corners for the Eagles with nobody out. A wonderful bunt from Mari Robbins. Just squibbed it in front of the circle. And DePaula, she was quick with the exchange, but couldn't get there in time. And now we're going to see a visit in the circle. As we'll give you some news on Carson-Newman women's basketball. What a win for the Lady Eagles, who fell to Anderson in the South Atlantic Conference semifinals earlier in March in Rock Hill, South Carolina. That game was never really a contest. Anderson pulled away early, won that game by 25, en route to a dominant run in the South Atlantic Conference tournament today. Carson-Newman ends Anderson's season in Dahlonega, Georgia, 75-71. What a win for Mike Mincy and the Carson-Newman Lady Eagles in Dahlonega, Georgia. It was a good start for the Eagles, similar to what Anderson did in Rock Hill. Carson-Newman led by 18 at one point in the second half. Anderson brought it within 2. Carson-Newman able to hold on late against the Trojans. So the visit concludes in the circle. DePaula stays in for Anderson. But a tough spot for DePaula. Runners on the corners, and Macaulay Bailey at the plate for the Eagles. Robbins on first, Dye on third, with nobody out. As DePaula toes the slab, rocks, fires the first pitch home to Bailey. She loops it in the shallow left, a base hit. Dye scores from third, and Carson-Newman converts an RBI single from Macaulay Bailey, and it's 1-0. Just enough mustard on that one to left as Bailey's aboard with her second hit of the contest. And now Anderson with runners on first and second. Carson-Newman has the lead on its third hit of the inning. Now 6 on the day for the Eagles. Here's Anderson. A transfer from Limestone has certainly been an impact player for Michael Graves and his squad. She dribbles the first pitch left side to third for one. No throw to first as Davis makes a heads-up play. Gets the force out at third base. And Anderson reaches on a fielder's choice. First pitch swinging for Santana Anderson. A good play by Davis in the 6-hole. There's now a conversation being had. Third base line, maybe an interference. Not sure exactly what the conversation is regarding here. As Michael Graves is going to let Anderson's head coach converse down the third base line. Tommy Hewitt having a conversation. Now the umpires will converge. I don't know, maybe talking potential interference on Mari Robbins. Not sure what the conversation's about here. As it looked like Anderson's going to try and turn two. Go to third and then go to first. But there is no throw to try and get Anderson. So I have to think that's the conversation here. It's about potential interference on Mari Robbins that would rule, I believe, Santana Anderson out. And there's no change in the call. It stands. I think that's the right decision there. As Robbins seemed to try and get out of the way. No intention to cut off a throwing lane for Maggie Knock at third. So first and second for Carson-Newman. One away for Brooklyn Lucero, who stands in from the right side. DePaula peeks at her wrist, gets the call, fires the first pitch home to Lucero. She rips it to left. Long run for the left fielder, but she makes the play for out number 2. Shelby Bant in left makes a wonderful running grab on a rocket off the bat of Brooklyn Lucero. And there's 2 down. Certainly saved a run, maybe 2. With Anderson, a little bit of speed standing on first. Certainly would have scored Bailey if that ball were to drop. As Rogers now stands in with 2 away. First pitch home from DePaula to Rogers. She swings and misses behind the fastball for strike 1. 0-1 the count to Sierra. As a little bit of a rowdy Anderson crowd here this afternoon. They're getting into it. It's always fun to have an atmosphere at a sporting event. Certainly one here today as Rogers falls behind 0-1. Anderson on first, Bailey on second with 2 down for Carson-Newman. The next pitch home is downstairs. Rogers takes. And the count evens at a ball and a strike. 1-1 the count. Eagles lead 1-0 off the Macaulay Bailey RBI single. Looking to build on that lead with 2 runners aboard and 2 down. 1 run on 6 hits for the Eagles. As Paula leans, fires home to Rogers. She pops it up foul behind the dish, and the count a ball and 2 strikes. Kennedy Warder is on deck for Carson-Newman. As DePaula ready to deal the next offering to Rogers, who's gotten it done in the circle. 2 scoreless innings for Sierra. She allowed just 2 hits to the Trojan offense. As DePaula deals a 1-2, Rogers pokes it foul behind the plate to stay alive, and the count remains 1-2. DePaula looking to limit the damage to just 1 here in the top half of the third, but the Eagles again on the board for the first time in 5 games. The Eagles didn't score first in those 2 wins over Lincoln Memorial. Did score first in 1 win against Newberry. It's been a little while since the Eagles have cracked the run column first. The next 1-2 to Rogers. She swings and misses. Strike 3. DePaula's first strikeout's a big one. Strands runners on first and second. And we head to the home half of the third. The Eagles on the board first. It's 1-0 on Macaulay Bailey's RBI single. We'll be back for the home half of the third right here on the Eagles Sports Network.
He is from Chick-fil-A to Coffee. Savario's Fresh Ideas has tons of high-quality dining options for whatever. And the Health Sciences Building. Savario's features all your Mexican favorites, from burritos to nachos to quesadillas to tacos to anything you can think of in a tortilla. Follow Fresh Ideas on Instagram at Carson-Newman Dining.
This is Carson-Newman men's basketball alum Taylor Hawkins. I want to help your family secure its financial future. I'm with Modern Woodman Financial Planning, where we touch lives and secure futures. Let Modern Woodman protect your family's financial security through life insurance, retirement planning, and financial services. You can contact me, Taylor Hawkins, at cneagles.com/Modern Woodman. That's cneagles.com/Modern Woodman. Help secure your family's financial future through Modern Woodman Financial Planning.
Back here on the Eagles Sports Network, Carson-Newman leads 1-0 as we enter the bottom half of the third. Macaulay Bailey gets one through the left side to score Hayden Dye and put the Eagles on top again. Still a little bit more to be desired, but you'll take it if you're the Eagles to take the lead here on the road. Looking to bounce back after dropping 2 at Wingate. And a good start for this Eagle offense. 1 run on 6 hits, so Shelby Bant will stand in to lead off Anderson's half of the third. Sierra Rogers has gotten it done in the circle for Carson-Newman as Bant stands in for the second time. First pitch home to Shelby Bant. It's downstairs for ball 1. Bant 1 for 1. She got aboard with a bunt single as a part of the first 2 Trojans to reach in the bottom half of the first inning. Right-handed Rogers looks home. Rocks fires the 1-0 pitch. It's a called strike on the outside corner, and the count is 1-1. Base is empty for Bant. Nobody out with Carpenter on deck. And Cadence Barrick in the hole for the Anderson Trojans. The 1-1 pitch home to Bant. She rips it left side to third. Bailey scoops, throws to first, well in time for the first out. Hard hit ball by Bant. Better play by Macaulay Bailey, who gets a speedy Bant for out number 1. Maddie Carpenter, who worked a 10-pitch at-bat with Sierra Rogers her first time at the plate, ended in a strikeout. She stands back in for the second time. What a big punch-out that was, too, to get Maddie Carpenter on strikes. As the first pitch home from Rogers is in the turf. Ball 1. Ball and no strikes to Carpenter with 1 away. Bases empty for Anderson. The Eagles lead this contest 1-0 over the Trojans. It's been a good start offensively for Carson-Newman again, despite stranding some opportunities. A 1-0 to Carpenter. She pops it right side and foul. And the count is 1-1. Despite a little bit of a shaky start for Rogers, the only 2 hits she allowed were to lead off that first inning. She's really settled in and pitched really well here in this contest. 60 pitches. She struck out 3. As she rocks, steals a 1-1. It's low and inside. And the count's 2-1. Cadence Barrick awaits on deck. Lauren Brakovic in the hole. As Rogers will walk back to the circle after exchanging balls behind the plate and prepare to deal the 2-1. Righty toes a slab. Lean steals the 2-1 pitch. It's dribbled left side. Right back to Bailey. She throws over to first. Well in time for the second out. 2 up, 2 down. Macaulay Bailey gobbling up the first 2 balls hit to her on the left side. And there's 2 down for Cadence Barrick. Rogers looking for the first 1-2-3 inning today to get this Carson-Newman offense back to the plate in the 4th. As Barrick stands in, first pitch home from Rogers. A called strike over the heart of the plate. And the count 0-1. No balls and a strike to Barrick. As Rogers gets the call. Rock steals a 0-1 pitch. It's dribbled left side towards the Anderson dugout. A foul ball. And the count 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes, 2 down for the Eagle defense. Here in the bottom of the 3rd. Rogers gets the call from Worley, deals a 0-2 to Barrick. It's high, and the count is 1-2. Try to get Barrick to chase there, just a little too high. Try and get an offer at it. from the bat of Barrick, who's hitting .283 this season. She awaits the 1-2 offering from the Eagles, Sierra Rogers. The 1-2 home is low and outside. The count evens at 2-2. 66 pitches for Rogers. She's been fairly efficient here in this contest through a fair share of pitches in the first, but has kept the count down here in the second and the third as she gets the call from the Eagle dugout. Rocks fires the 2-2 home to Barrick, who loops into the shallow right. Warder charging in. She laid out. Can't make the play. The ball gets away to right, and it will allow Barrick to race to second. A 2-out double. It's a long run for Kennedy Warder with the wind blowing that ball back towards the infield. Warder just barely couldn't get there in time, as Brockovic, with a tying run in scoring position, will have a chance with 2 away. Brockovic stands in from the right side with Barrick on second. After the 2-out double hit to shallow right. Again, Warder just not able to get there. Great hustle and great effort to try and end the inning. As the first pitch home to Brockovic is high. And the ball in, no strikes. About 75 degrees. I've been fortunate enough, thank you to the Anderson staff, for providing some shade on a sunny afternoon in Anderson, South Carolina. Certainly still warm. It's nice to have some shade. As the count, ball and no strikes. Rogers rocks, fires the 1-0. It's high. Ball 2. Brockovic up 2 balls and no strikes in the count. With Barrick the tying run in scoring position for Anderson. With 2 down here in the bottom of the third. Carson-Newman leads 1-0 off a Macaulay Bailey RBI single in the top half of the third. But Anderson again able to work a runner into scoring position here in the home half. The 2-0 to Brockovic, called strike over the heart of the plate in the count. 2-1. Rogers readies to fire the next pitch home. Deals a 2-1. Brockovic skies it high right side. Lucero and Dye give chase, but it's foul. And the count's 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Rogers looking for her third consecutive scoreless frame to start the contest. But Anderson with a chance to tie it up or take the lead with Brockovic at the plate and Barrick on second. Rogers peeks at the Eagle dugout, gets the call from Holly Tucker-Vance. And readies to fire the 2-2. The 2-2 home. Brockovic fouls it off, just able to get a piece upstairs, and the count remains 2-2. We've seen that a lot today. Anderson just able to spoil pitches. That time just nicked off the bat of Brockovic as she stays alive. The next 2-2 home from Rogers. Downstairs, Worley keeps it in front, holds Barrick at second, but the count moves full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. With Paige Vickery standing on deck, the Anderson crowd comes alive here at the Anderson Softball Complex. Good crowd on hand. Seems like a lot of students in attendance on a sunny day. The payoff home. Brockovic swings and misses. It's dropped by Worley. And a throw to first is in time for out number 3. What a job by Sierra Rogers. Her 4th strikeout on the day. And it strands a tying run in scoring position. We head to the 4th. The Eagles lead Anderson 1-0 right here on the Eagles Sports Network.
You there. Communities is more. The way you know when you walk into First Bank that you are in a community. Great products, direct access to your local bankers, and relationships that can last a lifetime. Don't just have an account. Have a community with First Bank. Member FDIC.
Insurance, it's about people, not things. It's about security. It's about confidence. It's about relationships. It's about trust. It's about you. It's a local independent agent. An insurance agency can design an insurance program that's just right for you and your family. Love safe, sound, secure protection. from Auto Owners Insurance. Call Bible Insurance Agency, 423-586-4320, or go by 1600 East Andrew Johnson Highway in Morristown.
Back here on the Eagles Sports Network, Carson-Newman leads Anderson, and Sierra Rogers has just done a brilliant job. Able to strand runners in scoring position, does so right there. Strands a runner on second with another strikeout. And it's now Kennedy Warder will lead off the Eagles half of the fourth. 1-0 Carson-Newman through 3 full innings. As Carson-Newman has tallied 6 hits, but again, just 1 run to show for the Eagles. Looking to convert these opportunities down the stretch. First pitch home to Warder. She lifts it high right side. Brockovic giving chase, but it was Sky over top of the Eagle dugout for a foul ball. The count 0-1. As Carson-Newman will send Kennedy Warder, Addie Saunders, and Abby Martin to the dish at the very least here in the top of the fourth. Warder today 1 for 1 with a single. Awaits the 0-1 pitch from Sarah DePaula. Pitch home. It is low and in. The count evens at 1-1. Warder, the senior to Harrodsburg, Kentucky, certainly one of the senior leaders on this Eagles squad. She's hitting .346 this season, starting her 25th game. She started 25 of the 26 for Carson-Newman. As a 1-1 home, Warder swings and misses on the off-speed, and the count 1-2. Warder had a pair of hits against Wingate in that second game. One of them was a solo home run. Didn't mean much at the time, but Warder certainly still has some pop left at the dish. She's hit 4 home runs this season, just 2 off her career high in an Eagle uniform. The 1-2 is upstairs and outside, and the count is 2-2. 2 of those 4 home runs came in the second game against Lee. That was a loss for Carson-Newman. Warder did send 2 out of the yard. Hit 1 against Lincoln Memorial, 1 against Wingate. As a 2-2 to Warder, she drills it to left, but it misses the light pole down the left field line, just a little ahead of that pitch, and the count remains 2-2. Warder obviously seeing it well with a hard hit foul ball to the left side, and she'll await the next 2-2. Bases empty, nobody out, as DePaula has been able to keep this a 1-run game despite allowing the 6 hits. She deals the next 2-2 to Warder. She watches it on the outside corner. A called strike 3. She pulled the string on that one and deposits it on the outer black for the first out of the inning. Nice pitch from DePaula to freeze up Kennedy Warder. As now Addie Saunders will stand in for the second time. DePaula gets the signal. Rocks fires the first pitch home to Saunders. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Saunders in the box. Martin is on deck to round out the second trip through the Eagle order. Talked about Saunders a little bit. Her 3rd start in her freshman season out of Bradford, Virginia. Awaits the 0-1. The pitch home. Saunders washes it off the plate, and the count evens at a ball and a strike. Saunders' last start was at Wingate. In that second game of the doubleheader, she went 2 of 3. Her first multi-hit effort in an Eagle uniform. She had a bases-clearing double against Southern Wesleyan. She cuts and misses at the next pitch, and the count is 1-2. Saunders down, a ball and 2 strikes in the count with the bases empty and 1 down. Right-handed DePaula gets a signal from her wrist. Rocks and fires the 1-2 home to Saunders. It's off the plate, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. DePaula up to 65 pitches on the afternoon. Sees a couple Anderson arms getting warmed up in the bullpen. As the 2-2 home to Addie Saunders, she dribbles it left side, and it goes foul. A corkscrew ball at the bat of Saunders, and Maggie Knock with a heads-up play to watch it go foul on a awkwardly hit ball at the bat of Saunders. As she stands back in and awaits the next 2-2. Good fight here from the freshman to stay alive in this count. The next 2-2 home. Saunders fouls it off to the left side. Continues to fight in the box to stay alive, and the count remains 2-2. Head coach Michael Graves, you gotta like what you see out of your freshmen. Fighting to win this battle with Sarah DePaula in the circle. As DePaula toes the slab, fires the next 2-2 home. Saunders rips it towards short. Scoop throw to first by Davis is just in time to get Addie Saunders with a second out. Tough play for Davis, charging it on the infield, but she's able to make the play in time, and there's 2 away for Abby Martin. Good response from DePaula after allowing the Eagles to break the deadlock. She's retired the first 2 here in the top of the 4th. DePaula deals the first pitch home to Martin. She rockets this one to left, going back to the track, and it's just foul. It wasn't going to lead, but it would have been extra bases for Abby Martin. But that wind blowing out towards left field took that ball just into foul ground. And Martin will face another offering from DePaula. Catcher for Anderson heads out to chat. It's Chloe Manis chats with their starter, Sarah DePaula, here with 2 outs in the top of the 4th. Well hit by Martin. Her last home run that she hit came here at Wingate. She met Anderson at the end of last season. She almost got another one right there, just missed it. She awaits a 0-1 from Sarah DePaula. The 0-1 pitch home. Martin watches it just high, and the count's 1-1. She left it just a hair high to DePaula at the letters. And the count evens the ball and a strike. Base is empty for Martin with 2 down. Looking to spark a 2-out rally for the Eagle offense. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Big swing from Martin. She offers at the pitch on the outside part of the plate. And the count's a ball and 2 strikes. Paula rocks and fires the 1-2 home. Martin punches it right side. Brockovic handles it and takes it herself for the 3rd out. The Eagles go 1-2-3 in the top of the 4th. We'll head to the bottom half. Carson-Newman hanging on to a 1-0 lead right here on the Eagles Sports Network.
There's new fresh ideas on campus. From Chick-fil-A to Maples Coffee to Savario's, Fresh Ideas has tons of high-quality dining options for whatever taste you may need. Savario's is open Monday through Friday for lunch and dinner and the Health Sciences Building. Savario's features all your Mexican favorites, from burritos to nachos to quesadillas to tacos to anything you can think of in a tortilla. Follow Fresh Ideas on Instagram at Carson-Newman Dining.
This is Carson-Newman men's basketball alum Taylor Hawkins. I want to help your family secure its financial future. I'm with Modern Woodman Financial Planning, where we touch lives and secure futures. Let Modern Woodman protect your family's financial security through life insurance, retirement planning, and financial services. You can contact me, Taylor Hawkins, at cneagles.com/Modern Woodman. That's cneagles.com/Modern Woodman. Help secure your family's financial future with Modern Woodman Financial Planning.
Back here on the Eagle Sports Network, Carson-Newman leads Anderson 1-0. Here on the Eagle Sports Network, looking to continue what's been a successful day against the Trojans already. Carson-Newman Lady Eagles headed to the round of 32 after a 75-71 win over Anderson. Dahlonega, Georgia's Paige Vickery will lead off this bottom half of the 4th for the Trojans. Rogers back out there for Carson-Newman, deals first pitch that's fouled off. And the count is 0-1. 3 innings for Rogers. She's allowed just 3 hits and has struck out 4, including 1 to end the frame with a runner on second. As Rogers deals a 0-1 pitch home, Vickery watches in the turf. And the count's 1-1. It's Vickery, Knock, and Manis due up 6, 7, and 8 for the Trojans. Here in the home half, the fourth, the Eagles claim the lead in the top of the third on a Macaulay Bailey RBI single. As a 1-1 home to victory, dribbled left side. Bailey scoops on a backhand, throw to first in time on a stretch from Brooklyn Lucero for the first out. Macaulay Bailey wearing a brace on her right knee. It hasn't looked to limit her that much today. She's been excellent at the hot corner, and she makes a play for out number one. A tough play hovering over the third base bag. In that situation, she wanted to keep it fair, and she did. And the throw to Lucero in time to get Paige Vickery for the first out. Here's Maggie Knock. She's 0 for 1 today. First pitch from Rogers, low and inside in the count. Ball in, no strikes. Again, we'll play another one after this. Stick around for the second game of two between Carson-Newman and Anderson. Right here on the Eagle Sports Network. Glad to have you with me wherever you may be listening from. Do appreciate it. It's a 1-0 home to Knock. It was downstairs ball two. Really enjoyed meeting quite a few of you this season. If you ever are around Mossy Creek or on a road trip, do not hesitate to come say hello. It's been a pleasure to meet a lot of families and a lot of fans this year. As count 2 balls in, no strikes to Rogers. Rogers knocks and fires. A called strike, and the count is 2-1. Base is empty for Anderson with one away after Rogers retires Paige Vickery on a ground out to third. Again, after those 2 hits allowed by Rogers in the first, he really settled in this contest as a 2-1 home. Is downstairs and inside, ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. Rogers has only dealt 1 free pass in this contest, but in danger of doing so with Maggie Knock at the plate. And a 3-1 count. Chloe Manis is on deck for the Anderson Trojans with 1 away. Here in the bottom half of the fourth. A 3-1 is a called strike on the inner black, and the count is full. Full count to Maggie Knock. A big pitch upcoming from Rogers, looking to prevent putting the tying run on base with 1 away here in the home half of the fourth. The 3-2 home from Sierra Rogers, low and in, ball 4. Knock takes first on Sierra Rogers' second free pass of the afternoon. And the tying run is back aboard for Anderson. The Trojans have yet to draw even with Carson-Newman here in this contest. Now the tying run back aboard the base pass with Knock at first. And just 1 away. Manis will step in. Then it'll be Cheney Crosby. Then back to the top for Jenna Davis. Anderson can get that far here in the fourth. First pitch to Manis. Big cut and a miss up high for strike 1. Manis wanted to take that one over the left field fence, but she's denied as Rogers pumps it past her bat. And the count is 0-1. Manis back in the box from the right side. Knock on first with 1 away. The 0-1. Manis squares to bunt. She pokes at it downstairs, and the count 0-2. Manis whiffed on the bunt. She was trying to move Knock to second and get her in scoring position for Cheney Crosby, but couldn't get a piece of it. Quickly, it's 0-2. Rogers ready to deal the 0-2. She rocks, steals a 0-2 pitch home. Manis this time is able to hold up on a pitch downstairs, and the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Check in a little while on Carson-Newman baseball. The Eagles at Limestone this afternoon, taking on the Saints for a South Atlantic Conference contest. A 1-2 rope left side. Bailey lays out and makes the play on the line for out number 2. Macaulay Bailey has been sensational defensively today, and she snags it for the second out. That ball was bound to go down the left field line all the way to the wall. And with Knock on first, who knows, she could have scored on that. But Bailey takes away a base hit, and there's 2 down. Here's Cheney Crosby with 2 away. First pitch home to Crosby is fouled off to the left side, and the count is 0-1. It's been a great performance from Rogers. She's gotten some help from her defense. Got it right there with a wonderful play from Macaulay Bailey. 0-1, the count to the 9-hole hitting Cheney Crosby. As As a right-handed Rogers rocks, fires a 0-1 pitch home to Crosby. It's in the opposite batter's box, and the count evens at a ball and a strike. Carson-Newman baseball set to get underway at Limestone at 5 o'clock. For one game today, then a doubleheader tomorrow at 1 and 4 o'clock in Gaffney, South Carolina. The 1-1 home from Sierra Rogers to Cheney Crosby is low, and the count's 2 balls and a strike. Rogers looking to polish off her 4th consecutive scoreless frame to start this contest and strand the tying run aboard once again. She's done an excellent job keeping this lead intact for Carson-Newman that sits at 1-0. The 2-1, Crosby fouls it off the left side, and it's 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Rogers looking to end the frame and get Carson-Newman back to the plate, looking to extend this 1-run lead. The Eagles claimed in the top half of the third. Deuces wild on the scoreboard. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The 2-2 home. Off the plate, ball 3. Full count now to Cheney Crosby, the top of the order, and Jenna Davis awaiting on deck. Obviously, if you're the Eagles and Sierra Rogers, you'd like to delay that meeting to the 5th. But Crosby in a full count, going to work herself aboard with knock on first after a 1-out walk. The payoff home from Rogers. Crosby lines it left side to third off the glove. Bailey Anderson scoops her throw to first, is not in time, and Cheney Crosby reaches on an infield single. Bailey laid out, almost made the play again. Anderson, a good job to back her up and almost make the play at first. But it's not in time. Now the tying run in scoring position, the go-ahead run on base for the Trojans, with the leadoff hitting Jenna Davis standing in from the left side. First pitch home from Rogers. Davis skies it high to center. Martin is underneath it, and she snags it for the 3rd out. So despite the tying run getting into scoring position again, Sierra Rogers dances out of trouble. It's 1-0 Carson-Newman after 4 right here on the Eagle Sports Network.
How do you know you're in a community, not just a town? Well, strangers smile as they walk by. They refill your coffee without you asking. And when you ask directions, people offer to walk you there. Communities give more. The way you know when you walk into First Bank that you are in a real community bank. Great products, direct access to your local bankers, and relationships that can last a lifetime. Don't just have an account. Have a community with First Bank. Member FDIC.
Insurance, it's about people, not things. It's about security. It's about confidence. It's about relationships. It's about trust. It's about you. As a local independent agent, Bible Insurance Agency can design an insurance program that's just right for you and your family. Give the people you love safe, sound, secure protection from Auto Owners Insurance. Call Bible Insurance Agency, 423-586-4320, or go by 1600 East Andrew Johnson Highway in Morristown.
Back to the top of the order for the Eagles here in the top of the 5th. It's 1-0 Eagles after Sierra Rogers again strands a tying run in scoring position. Carson-Newman's held the lead since the 3rd. Out hitting the Trojans 6-4, but only 1 run to show for it. Obviously looking to add to this lead with the top of the order awaiting. Hayden Dye against Sarah DePaula. First pitch is downstairs for ball 1. The count, a ball and no strikes. Again, thank you for joining me here on the Eagle Sports Network. It's been a successful day for Carson-Newman Athletics thus far. The Lady Eagles advance to the round of 32. Carson-Newman men's basketball set to play tomorrow at either 3 or 5. There's some confusion over that, as the next pitch home to Dye is downstairs, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes to Carson-Newman's leadoff hitter, Hayden Dye. And there's been a little bit of changes in the Eagle order. The usual leadoff hitter for Carson-Newman, Sienna Cameron, is currently out as a 2-0 home from DePaula. Dye smokes it deep to left, and you can kiss that one goodbye. Hayden Dye, a Moonshot. And Carson-Newman leads 2-0. Right on cue, Dye's 5th home run of the season, and Carson-Newman doubles its advantage. She saw the high fastball, and she took it for a ride. Hayden Dye provides some much-needed insurance for the Carson-Newman offense, and it's 2-0 Eagles. So Mari Robbins is set to come in the box, but it looks like we might have a change for Anderson here. Maybe a new arm set to enter the contest, with Sarah DePaula giving up a leadoff home run. It does look like we will have a new arm. We'll talk about who it is on the other side. Carson-Newman working quickly in the top half of the 5th. A solo home run for Hayden Dye gets Carson-Newman back on the board for the first time since the 3rd. We'll talk about the new arm on the other side here on the Eagle Sports Network.
Sabario's features all of their Mexican favorites, from burritos to nachos to quesadillas to tacos to anything you can think of in a tortilla. Share ideas on Instagram.
This is men's basketball alum Taylor Hawkins. I want to help your family secure its financial future. I'm with Modern Woodman Financial Planning, where we touch lives and secure futures. Let Modern Woodman protect your family's financial security through life insurance, retirement planning, and financial services. You can contact me, Taylor Hawkins, at CNE Modern Woodman at cneagles.com/. Help secure your family's financial future through Modern Women Financial Planning.
It's Paige Vickery to take over in the circle for Anderson after Hayden Dye blasted a leadoff moonshot to left field. Vickery in the circle as Robbins chops the first pitch foul, and the count is 0-1. So Vickery comes in after playing second base into the 5th. She takes over in the circle for Sarah DePaula. Heading to second is Kinsley Dunn off the bench. Vickery has been used pretty sparingly this year. Only 5 innings of work as the 0-1 pitch misses downstairs to Mari Robbins, and the count evens at a ball and a strike. So Vickery, a 5.40 ERA through 5 innings of work. Ready to deal the 1-1 home. Robbins watches it high, and the count moves 2-1. 2 balls and a strike to Carson-Newman's leading home run hitter, Mari Robbins, who has 9 on the season. Macaulay Bailey, who's on deck right behind her with 8 here in 2025. 2-1 home to Robbins. She watches on the inner part of the plate, and the count's 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, bases empty, nobody out for the Carson-Newman offense after Hayden Dye's leadoff solo home run, her 5th of the year. And Carson-Newman's 42nd. That leads the nation. The 2-2. Robbins watches it downstairs and inside. Ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out for Robbins, a senior out of Sweetwater, Tennessee. The payoff pitch home from Vickery. Robbins watches it high. Ball 4. Robbins aboard with a walk, and now Macaulay Bailey will stand in. She's been excellent today in all facets. 2 hits and 2 at-bats. She gave Carson-Newman the early advantage in the 3rd with an RBI single. Has made plenty of great plays at 3rd despite having that brace on her right knee. She's been able to be very mobile here in this contest. First pitch home to Bailey is well high for ball 1. Robbins on first with nobody out. Carson-Newman may be looking to pull away a little bit here in the 5th. Against Anderson, leading 2-0. Carson-Newman looking for its 3rd road win of the season. Eagles won 2 at Shorter, dropped 2 at Columbus State, 1 at Lander, and then there's 2 at Wingate. Just 2-5 on the road are the Eagles here in 2025. The 1-0 to Bailey is downstairs. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Paige Vickery to Macaulay Bailey. Vickery struggled to find the zone a little bit here early in a relief appearance. As Macaulay awaits the 2-0. Vickery rocks and fires. Bailey rips it left side, but foul. And Macaulay Bailey just a junior, but she's now Carson-Newman's all-time leader in home runs. She's hit 38 in her career, which is good for the all-time lead. She's been absolutely phenomenal for the Eagles in her tenure here at Carson-Newman, and awaits a 2-1 pitch from Paige Vickery. A 2-1 home from Vickery. Bailey watches it high. Robbins takes off for second. She dives in safely on a throw by Manis that's just behind the speedy Robbins. Davis tried to apply the tag, but by that point Robbins was hugging the second base bag, and she's in the scoring position. Bailey in a 3-1 count with Paige Vickery. Robbins now in scoring position for Macaulay with nobody out. Vickery peeks at her wrist, fires home the 3-1. It's downstairs. Ball 4. Now first and second for Carson-Newman. Good block behind the plate by Manis that held Robbins at second. As now it looks like Michael Graves is going to make a change. Probably a pinch runner for Macaulay Bailey. Mentioned that brace on her right knee. As it looks like she'll exit. A pinch runner coming in for Macaulay. Signal seems that it's going to be Katie Mathena. We'll wait to see officially. And it's going to be Taylor Erb. So Taylor Erb, the pinch runner for Carson-Newman here in the top of the 5th. First and second with Erb on first. Robbins on second. Taylor Erb, the freshman out of Waxhaw, North Carolina. Santana Anderson in the box for the Eagles. Still nobody out. Vickery peeks at her wrist, fires home. Anderson squares the bunt. She pops it up back to the circle. Erb caught off the base, and she's out at first. Anderson pops up a bunt. Erb doubled up at first. And just like that, there's 2 away. Like Erb just caught a little too far off first base. Vickery able to turn and throw to Brakovic at first. And now Brooklyn Lucero will stand in. Robbins still at second, so still a duck on the pond for Lucero. She watches the first pitch high for ball 1. And the count of ball and no strikes. 2-0 Carson-Newman here in the top of the 5th. Hayden Dye led off the frame with an absolute moonshot to left. Get the Eagles back on the board for the first time since the 3rd. 1-0 pitch home. Lucero a big swing and miss, similar to the pitch that Dye went yard on. She can't catch up to it, and the count is 1-1. Brooklyn having a really nice season, a really nice stretch especially, that's led to the South Atlantic Conference Player of the Week selection. After going 9 of 13 at the plate, the 1-1 home to Brooklyn, she swings and misses behind the heater from Paige Vickery, and the count is 1-2. Brooklyn here in her senior season with the Eagles at 357. She'll be 397 this year, 357 in her time with the Eagles. She awaits the 1-2. Vickery spins, fires. Lucero fouls it off to the netting behind home plate, and the count remains a ball and 2 strikes. Lucero hitless in Game 1 against Wingate. Game 2 sent a solo shot out of the yard at Wingate. She's hit 5 home runs this year, tied her season total all of last year. As Vickery spins home the next 1-2, Lucero swings and misses. Strike 3. Carson-Newman does get one on Hayden Dye's leadoff solo home run. It's 2-0 Carson-Newman. We head to the bottom of the 5th right here on the Eagles Sports Network.
At InterDigital, we strive to be a leading provider of cutting-edge pro and marketing solutions. At InterDigital, we want to help our clients find success. Our team of technology gurus work together to ensure InterDigital continues to progress forward as technology advances. At InterDigital, we make technology work for you. Visit InterDigital.com for IT IT support, web development, virtual tours, graphic design, internet marketing, mobile app, and film production services.
InterDigital, laser-focused on your success.
We love to cheer for our home teams, like the Eagles. It means more when we're rooting for the people we know. Did you know Twilight is your home team internet provider? We're right here in Jefferson City, serving the people we know with our ultra-fast, ultra-reliable fiber broadband network. And we'd love to serve you. Learn more at twilight.net or by calling 833-847-0824. Go Eagles!
Back here on the Eagle Sports Network, Carson-Newman leads Anderson now 2-0 as we enter the bottom of the fifth inning. Carson-Newman able to get back on the board with Hayden Dye's solo home run. I don't know if I've ever seen a ball that looked more gone off the bat than that one did. An absolute blast from Hayden. Carson-Newman did leave another runner in scoring position there, but nonetheless add to the advantage with Sierra Rogers back in the circle. First pitch home to Shelby Bant is high, and the count of ball and no strikes. So Dye adds to the Carson-Newman lead. The Eagles lead by 2 after 4 scoreless from Sierra Rogers, looking for a fifth here. As Bant awaits the 1-0. It's high from Rogers, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. So Carson-Newman back in the all-orange uniforms. The Eagles have had plenty of success in this uniform combination. The Eagles 12-1 in the new orange uniforms with the script writing on the front in white and the white pinstripes. As Rogers deals a 2-0, that clips the top of the zone for a called strike, and it's 2-1. 3-1 after 3 balls out of the hand of Sierra. Never mind, the count is 2-1. That's what I thought. But the scoreboard reads 3-0. It is a 2-1 count as Rogers dips and deals the 2-1 to Bant. It's on the outside corner, and the count 2-2. Eagles 12-1 in these uniforms. The only loss came to the Barton Bulldogs in the Southeast Region preview in Johnson City, the last game of that weekend. It's a 2-2 home from Rogers. Bant slaps it left side and foul. And the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wind's starting to gust a little bit more, and it's pushing again back into the field of play, which didn't have any impact on Hayden Dye's home run. That one would have been a home run even if it was a hurricane out here, I think. Nonetheless, wind has played a little bit of a role here in this contest. The 2-2 home to Bant. Off the plate, ball 3. Full count now to Shelby Bant, with Maddie Carpenter awaiting, as well as Cadence Barrick in the hole. 2-0 Eagles, bottom of the fifth. So Eagles look to hang on, get back in the win column. 2-2, 3-2 is a ball downstairs, and Bant takes her base. Third walk of the day for Sierra Rogers, and now Maddie Carpenter with a shot. As a tying run at the dish. Looking at some of the stats in this one, both teams have left a handful of runners aboard. Carson-Newman stranded 6. Anderson has stranded 7 in this contest. As the first pitch home to Carpenter, she ropes it to center. Martin on the run, makes the play over her shoulder for the first out. Nice play by Abby Martin, a quick adjustment on the fly on a ball that was hit pretty hard to dead center field. 1 down now for Cadence Barrick. And Abby Martin, certainly a good option to have there in center in the absence of Sienna Cameron. Played a large part of last season in center field. As the first pitch home to Barrick is up and in. And the count of ball and no strikes. Bant on first after the leadoff walk. Since then, Carpenter skied out to center. Rogers looking to continue what she's done today, and that's just keep Carson-Newman's lead intact. The next pitch to Barrick across the heart of the plate for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. Great to see some crowds out of the park today. It's a beautiful day for South Atlantic Conference softball, and Good contingent on both sides of the coin here with Anderson. Obviously a good home crowd. Carson-Newman has traveled well all season and continues to do so today. As the next pitch is popped up high left side, Bailey gives chase, but it falls into the Anderson dugout. And the count is 1-2. Tune in tomorrow on an off day if you have the free time. Carson-Newman men's basketball looks to pull the upset over top-seeded Columbus State. It's the 8-1 matchup in the Southeast region between Carson-Newman and the host Columbus State. As Rogers dips, fires the 1-2. Barrick takes. Good block by Worley, but slips away just a little bit and allows Bant to reach. Now the throw goes in the outfield. Bant races to third, stops right there. On the first error of the contest, it's a throwing error on Bailey Worley. As the infield reassures her it's all right. No harm, no foul, but now a run stands on third for Anderson. I think Worley thought there was a play there at second, but Bant was to the bag well in time. And now Barrick in a 2-2 count can cut the deficit in half with a ball that finds a hole. A 2-2 home from Rogers. Barrick watches it just inside. Ball 3. Didn't miss by much out of the hand of Rogers, but it just does. And now a check to third. She did not go around. Well, that was pretty obvious, but worth a check. As the count moves full. 3-2-1 scoreboard reads. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out for Cadence Barrick. Shelby Bant on third. As the payoff pitch home from Rogers is low and actually I think got Barrick on the toe. And now puts a tying run aboard. Here's Lauren Brockovic. Stand in with 1 down. Runners on the corners for Anderson. And as it was in the Wingate game, the opportunities that piled up for Carson-Newman that the Eagles just didn't capitalize on came back to haunt Carson-Newman at the end of the day in Wingate. Sierra Rogers, who's done a really nice job tiptoeing out of the dangerous situations here in this contest, looking to do so again. The first pitch home to Brockovic is a strike on the inner half, and the count is 0-1. It's Brockovic in the box. On deck is Paige Vickery in the hole. Maggie Knock for the Trojans here in the home half of the fifth. 2-0 Carson-Newman, but a threat for Anderson in the bottom of the fifth inning. As Rogers peeks at a wrist, gets the call from the dugout. Rock steals the 0-1 pitch to Brockovic. It's down low. Taking off for second is Cadence Barrick, and she races in standing up with no throw from Bailey Worley in the count. 1-1. Now the tying run in scoring position for the Trojans. A ball the outfield would likely score both runners aboard. As a 1-1 pitch home to Brockovic is a called strike on the inner edge. And the count 1-2. Big pitch up coming from Sierra Rogers, looking to get the second out without any advancement from the Anderson base runners. As Rogers gets the signal, ready to deal the next offering to Brockovic. The 1-2 is lined to left but tailing foul. And the count remains 1-2. I always find it interesting. Tommy Hewitt didn't even flinch when that ball was hit right next to his head down the third baseline. But I guess at this point, both Hewitt and head coach Michael Graves are used to these scenarios. And it's just another day when a ball comes skying at their head. The 1-2 home from Rogers to Brockovic. She loops it towards second. Dye makes the play. The throw to first is just in time to get Brockovic. A wonderful play from Hayden Dye on an awkwardly hit ball by Brockovic. She looked the runner at third, threw to first well in time for the second out. Exactly what the doctor ordered for the Eagle defense. An out with no advancement from the runners aboard. And now Paige Vickery stands in with 2 away. Got to find a hole here if you're Vickery. Trying to tie this game at 2 with 2 in scoring position. Bant on third, with Barrick on second as Vickery offers at the first pitch over top of it for strike 1. 0-1 the count huge part in this ballgame. The Eagles only able to get one in the top of the fifth on Dye's solo home run, a costly double play. Made it difficult for the Eagle offense, but a chance to retain this 2-0 lead as Rogers deals a 0-1. Vickery chops it foul, and the count is 0-2. Rogers looking to end the frame, finish her fifth scoreless inning, and keep the Eagles in control here in game one. Rogers looks at the Eagle dugout, gets the call. Readies to fire the 0-2. The 0-2 pitch home is downstairs. Good block by Bailey Worley to keep it in front. That holds Ban at third. And the count's a ball and 2 strikes. 2-0 Eagles with 2 runners in scoring position. Barrick on second, Bant on third for the Trojans, who have yet to score in this ballgame. No runs on 4 hits for Anderson, 2 runs on 7 hits for Carson-Newman. The next 1-2 is dribbled in front of the plate. Rogers scoops. Her throw to first is in time for out number 3. What a job by Sierra Rogers. A tough play. She had to completely pivot and throw to first in time. The Eagles retain the lead despite Anderson having the tying run in scoring position. It's 2-0 after 5 right here on the Eagles Sports Network.
There's new fresh ideas on campus. From Chick-fil-A to Naples Coffee to Saboreo's, Fresh Ideas has tons of high-quality dining options for whatever taste you may need. Saboreo's is open Monday through Friday for lunch and dinner and the Health Sciences Building. Saboreo's features all your Mexican favorites, from burritos to nachos to quesadillas to tacos to anything you can think of in a tortilla. Follow Fresh Ideas on Instagram at Carson-Newman Dining.
This is Carson-Newman men's basketball alum Taylor Hawkins. I want to help your family secure its financial future. Retirement planning and financial services. You can contact me, Taylor Hawkins, at cneagles.com/Modern Woodman. That's cneagles.com/Modern Woodman. Help secure your family's financial future through Modern Woodman Financial Planning.
Sierra Rogers to lead off Carson-Newman's half of the sixth. Eagles retain the lead, much thanks to Rogers in the circle, and she's at the plate to start Carson-Newman's half of the sixth inning. It's Eagles 2, Trojans nothing right here on the Eagles Sports Network as Rogers awaits a first pitch from Vickery. It's off the plate for ball 1 in the count. A ball and no strikes. Carson-Newman's been able to retain the advantage despite leaving some to be desired, but Anderson's done the same, much thanks to Rogers in the circle. As Vickery rocks and fires a 1-0 home, Rogers rips it foul to the left side. And the count evens at a ball and a strike. And stick around, take about a 30-minute lunch break if you need to. Maybe a little bit of a later lunch, as we're approaching the 3 o'clock hour. But come back, grab a spot on your couch, and tune in for Game 2 as the 1-1 home is downstairs. And the count, 2 balls and a strike. Carson-Newman looking for its first win on the road in South Atlantic Conference play. Small sample size. I mean, the Eagles have only played one road South Atlantic Conference series. That was at Wingate. We've talked about that doubleheader ad nauseum. So the Eagles dropped its first 2 contests in SAC play in Wingate. 2-1 home. Rogers washes it, top of the zone for a called strike 2. Looked a little high from here, but Vickery gets the benefit of the doubt. As the count evens at 2-2. The 2-2 home. Rogers dribbles it left side right towards Michael Graves, who makes a nice play with the bare hand and tosses it back to Vickery in the circle. Count remains 2-2 to Rogers. Kennedy Warder awaits on deck for the Eagles. As Vickery spins, fires a 2-2 home. Rogers watches it high, ball 3. Defense has remained the same for Anderson throughout today's contest, despite obviously the one change when Vickery came in from second into the circle. Kinsley Dunn's been at that position at second base for the past 2 innings. Here's the payoff. Vickery to Rogers. It's low. Ball 4. Good at bat from Rogers. Again, spoiling some pitches she didn't like. And she's aboard with a leadoff walk. Another leadoff base runner for Carson-Newman, looking to add some insurance to this 2-run lead late, as Anderson with 6 outs to work with to overcome the 2-run deficit. But the Trojans have shown they can get runners in scoring position, but haven't been able to get anything across against Rogers here this afternoon. First pitch home to Warder. She lays down a nice bunt right back to Vickery, who bare hands throws to first in time, but it advances Sierra Rogers to second, and a productive first out off the bat of Kennedy Warder. A sac bunt that puts Rogers in scoring position for Addie Saunders, looking for her first hit of the day. And it would be a big one, with Rogers standing on second. First pitch home from Vickery to Saunders. She clubs it to left, and it drops her a base hit. Rogers rounds third. They're going to send her home. The throw is offline, and Rogers dives in safely. An RBI single for Addie Saunders, and Carson-Newman's lead extends to 3. The freshman delivers as she heads to second on the throw, and Abby Martin will have a chance to get her in. Saunders trades places with Rogers on a single to left and moves to second on the throw back in. 3-0 Eagles with one down as Martin rips one to center. Playable for the center fielder. She'll snag it for out number 2 as Barrick makes the play in dead center field, and there's 2 away. Another good piece by Martin, but again, the wind blowing balls back into the field of play, and it was playable for Barrick, who snags it for the second out. Hayden Dye now at the plate. Her last at-bat resulted in a solo home run to lead off the 5th, as Carson-Newman has now scored in back-to-back frames. First pitch from Vickery to Dye. She watches on the outer part of the plate for strike 1. As Carson-Newman leads 3-0. The Eagles have not had an inning where it scored more than 1 run. 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 5th, now 1 here in the 6th. Looking for Carson-Newman's first multi-run effort in a frame, with Saunders on second. The 0-1 pitch to Dye is downstairs. The count evens at a ball and a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 away as Addie Saunders gets the Eagles back on the board with an RBI single. She now stands on second for Hayden Dye. Vickery wheels, fires the 1-1. Dye watches it high. Ball 2. Top of the order now up for Carson-Newman. Dye in the box. Robbins is on deck. McCauley, Bailey in the hole for the Eagles. As Vickery looks out. The 2-1 pitch. Dye watches it upstairs. Ball 3. 3 balls and a strike to Hayden Dye. Again, another hitter in this Carson-Newman order where it's not the worst thing you can do if you were to walk Hayden Dye, especially the damage she's dealt in this contest. 2 hits for her this afternoon. As the next pitch home is ball 4. And Dye is aboard for the 4th time. So that was actually her 4th at-bat. She has 3 hits. And now time is called. Vickery will have a chat with her pitching coach, Kelly Roberts. In her 4th season, a graduate of another South Atlantic Conference school. She came from Tusculum, graduated there in 2014. Now in her 4th season with the Anderson Trojans. So it'll be Saunders on second, Dye on first, after Hayden Dye reaches for the 4th time today. Again, thank you for joining me this afternoon, wherever you may be listening from. I always appreciate those that tune in. And again, if you ever catch me around the Vic or even on the road, don't hesitate to say hello. It's been a real pleasure get to know a lot of you listeners out there, whether it be family members or fans tuning in. I do appreciate you all tuning in. Ryan Wilkes here on the Eagles Sports Network as Mari Robbins will stand in from the right side with runners on first and second and 2 down. Dye on first, Saunders on second, who had the run-scoring hit earlier in the frame. Had scored Sierra Rogers from second to make it 3-0 Eagles. First pitch home to Robbins downstairs for ball 1. And the count of ball in, no strikes. McCauley Bailey is on deck for Carson-Newman, looking to put up multiple runs in an inning for the first time today. It's been enough, though, for Carson-Newman to hold on this lead. Sierra Rogers getting it done for the Eagles in the circle as Robbins rips one left side. It's taken care of at the third base bag for out number 3. Knox scoops it up, takes it herself to first, and that's how the top of the 6th ends. But the Eagles do get one on Addie Saunders' RBI single, and we head to the bottom half of the 6th. Carson-Newman leads 3-0 right here on the Eagle Sports Network.
How do you know you're in a community, not just a town? Well, strangers smile as they walk by. They refill your coffee without you asking. And when you ask directions, people offer to walk you there. Communities give more. The way you know when you walk into First Bank that you are in a real community bank. Great products, direct access to your local bankers, and relationships that can last a lifetime. Don't just have an account. Have a community with First Bank. Member FDIC.
Insurance, it's about people, not things. It's about security. It's about confidence. It's about relationships. It's about trust. It's about you. As a local independent agent, Bible Insurance Agency can design an insurance program that's just right for you and your family. Give the people you love safe, sound, secure protection from Auto Owners Insurance. Call Bible Insurance Agency, 423-586-4320, or go by 1600 East Andrew Johnson Highway in Morristown.
Maggie Knock leads off Anderson's half of the 6th, trailing Carson-Newman 3-0. The Eagles have been able to get insurance where it needs it and hold a 3-0 lead over Anderson after 5.5. Maggie Knock will stand in to start Anderson's half of the 6th. Sierra Rogers continues to deal in the circle for Carson-Newman. Right-handed Rogers gets a call from the Eagle dugout. Ready to deal the first trip to Maggie Knock. First pitch is a called strike on the outer edge, and the count is 0-1. Rogers with 5 scoreless frames. She's been in a couple jams. She's been able to work out of them. As Knock offers at the next pitch and misses. And the count is 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes as Rogers rips the 0-2 home. It's dribbled left side to short. Anderson scoops her throw to first. Is in time for out number 1. Santana Anderson looking at like a natural in the 6 hole. And she makes the play for the first out. Looks like we have a pinch hitter here. For Chloe Manis, it'll be Danielle Merritt to pinch hit for the Trojans with 1 down in the bottom of the 6th. It's a tough play for Anderson, moving over to her right, but she was able to secure it as Merritt pokes the first pitch foul. The count, no balls and a strike. Nothing in 1 the count with 1 away. The base is empty for the Trojans, trailing this contest 3-0. As the next pitch home is low and outside. Count evens at 1-1. A beautiful day here in Anderson, South Carolina for South Atlantic Conference softball. Hope you're having a nice afternoon wherever you may be listening from. It's been nice weather wherever we've been here in the past couple road trips. The next pitch to Merritt misses the inside corner, and the count is 2 balls and a strike. Two and 1 the count as Rogers spins and fires. Merritt pops it up right side and foul. And the count moves 2-2. Rogers has been part of the story here for Carson-Newman. The other story has been the Eagles' ability to just get enough on the scoreboard. Have certainly left some opportunities aboard, but it's been enough to get out in front And a complimentary performance from Rogers. A 2-2, top of the zone, a called strike 3. Rogers sets down the pinch hitting Merritt for her 5th strikeout, and there's 2 away. Another pinch hitter here for Anderson. Laney Price will pinch hit for Cheney Crosby with 2 down and the base is empty. Rogers looking for a 1-2-3, bottom of the 6th. She deals the first pitch home. Just missed the inner part of the plate to Price, and the count, ball and no strikes. A 1-0 home. Price pops it up right side. Lucero with a foot on the bag makes a play for out number 3. Easy work for Rogers in the bottom of the 6th. She goes 1-2-3 through the Anderson order, and we head to the 7th. Carson-Newman leads 3-0 here on the Eagle Sports Network.
There's new fresh ideas on campus. From Chick-fil-A to Maples Coffee to Savario's, Fresh Ideas has tons of high-quality dining options for whatever taste you may need. Savario's is open Monday through Friday for lunch and dinner and the Health Sciences Building. Savario's features all your Mexican favorites, from burritos to nachos to quesadillas to tacos to anything you can think of in a tortilla. Follow Fresh Ideas on Instagram at Carson-Newman Dining.
This is Carson-Newman men's basketball alum Taylor Hawkins. I want to help your family secure its financial future. I'm with Modern Woodman Financial Planning, where we touch lives and secure futures. Let Modern Woodman protect your family's financial security through life insurance, retirement planning, and financial services. You can contact me, Taylor Hawkins, at cneagles.com/Modern Woodman. That's cneagles.com/Modern Woodman. Help secure your family's financial future through Modern Woodman Financial Planning.
Back here on the Eagle Sports Network, Carson-Newman looks to add some insurance to this late lead over Anderson. Right here on the Eagle Sports Network, as Carson-Newman looks to break a 5-game skid against the Trojans, including 2 losses last year to end the Eagles season in the South Atlantic Conference Tournament. It was a 16-0 loss to put a sour end to the Eagles' 2024 campaign, but certainly exercising some demons here today at the Anderson Softball Complex. Macaulay Bailey will lead things off against Paige Vickery. The first pitch home, she grounds it left side and foul. And the count is 0-1. The last Carson-Newman win over Anderson came in 2022. It was an 8-1 win over the Trojans. But since then, it's been all Anderson in the all-time series, winning 5 in a row. As Vickery twirls the ball in her right hand, leans, fires the 0-1 home to Bailey. It skips in the turf, and the count evens at a ball and a strike. Carson-Newman's had 1 in the 3rd and 1 in the 5th, now 1 in the 6th. As Hayden Dye and Addie Saunders responsible for the last 2 runs of production for the Carson-Newman offense. Macaulay Bailey got the Eagles on the board in the 3rd. Next pitch home, Bailey clubs it foul off the netting, and the count, a ball and 2 strikes. See what the Eagles decide to go with in Game 2 in the circle. It's been all Sierra Rogers here in this first contest. We've often seen Rogers and then Spradlin go back-to-back. We'll see if that's the case in the second game. As a 1-2 home is high. Ball 2. Santana Anderson is on deck for the Carson-Newman offense. With Brooklyn Lucero in the hole for the Eagles. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. Base is empty, nobody out. As Vickery twirls home the 2-2 pitch and misses low and in. Ball 3. Bailey, who has had a really nice eye at the plate this year. She's worked 12 walks. 3rd Eagle in this order to work double-digit free passes. She awaits the payoff. She rips it up the middle, a base hit. Macaulay Bailey shows patience and puts one back up the middle for a leadoff single. Looks like they'll have another pinch runner for Macaulay here unless Michael Graves decides to keep her out there. It looks like he will. And Bailey keeping that brace on her right knee. here in today's contest. She hasn't shown too many signs of being held back by that brace. She's been excellent in all facets of the game today. As the first pitch home, victory to Anderson is high for ball one. And the count of ball and no strikes. Anderson 0 for 3, the transfer from Limestone, hitting .351 with 4 home runs and 17 RBIs. An impact player for the Eagles here in her first season in Mossy Creek. The 1-0 home to Santana is high again, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Paige Vickery, who came in for Sarah DePaula after her start. We'll recap her line in a moment. As the next pitch home to Santana, Anderson off the handle of the bat right towards the second baseman. She charges in. Kinsley Dunn makes the play for the first out. DePaula got the start. She faced 19 hitters through 4 innings full, allowed 2 earned runs. Got a good performance, but Anderson's offense just hasn't been able to generate the run support here in this contest. Bailey remains on first for Brooklyn Lucero. The first pitch home, she fouls it off. And the count is 0-1. Carson-Newman will return home next week on March 18th to take on now number 23 Tusculum. Pioneers ranked after a smoking hot start to 2025. Just 1 loss for the Trojans, for the Pioneers so far this year. As the 0-1 to Lucero is upstairs. And the count evens at a ball and a strike. Talking about the Southland Conference a little bit, the Eagles were one of the undefeated teams in the SAC. 2 losses at Wingate obviously changed that. The Bulldogs still undefeated, one of 2 undefeated teams in the Southland Conference, joined by Tusculum as Lucero skies the next pitch high, left side, playable for Davis, and she'll snag it for the second out. So 2 infield pop-ups after Bailey reaches to start the frame. Now there's 2 away for Sierra Rogers. Rogers looking to extend the frame, and if she comes out for the 7th, she has an opportunity to make it a little easier on herself with some run support. Here in the top of the 7th, first pitch home, Rogers rips it to right. It's tailing, and the play's made on the run by Carpenter on a hard hit ball by Sierra Rogers, and that ends the top of the 7th. Anderson has 3 outs. The Trojans need 3 runs to keep this game alive. We'll be back with the bottom of the 7th on the other side here on the Eagles Sports Network.
At InterDigital, we strive to be a leading provider of cutting-edge digital and marketing solutions. At InterDigital, we want to help our clients find success. Our team of technology gurus work together to ensure InterDigital continues to progress forward as technology advances. At InterDigital, we make technology work for you. Visit interdigital.com for IT support, web development, virtual tours, graphic design, internet marketing, mobile app, and film production services.
InterDigital, laser focused on your success.
We love to cheer for our home teams, like the Eagles. It means more when we're rooting for the people we know. Did you know Tri-Lite is your home team internet provider? We're right here in Jefferson City, serving the people we know with our ultra-fast, ultra-reliable fiber broadband network. And we'd love to serve you. Learn more at trilite.net or by calling 833-847-0824. Go Eagles!
Sierra Rogers will look to complete her 6th complete game of 2025 here in Anderson, South Carolina. It's 3-0 Carson-Newman as we enter the home half of the 7th. And it's Jenna Davis to step up right where you want to be if you're the Trojans offense. At top of your order to face off against Rogers, who's held the Anderson offense scoreless through 6. Rogers wheels, deals the first pitch to Davis. It's a call and strike on the outer edge, and the count 0-1. Carson-Newman out hitting Anderson 9-4. Here in this contest, 2 of the 4 hits that Anderson got were in the first inning. The first 2 hitters, Davis and Bant, both reached as a 0-1 pitch is downstairs, and the count evens at 1-1. Anderson led off. Davis led off Anderson's half of the first with a single, then Bant a bunt single. Looked like the Trojans were going to have something offensively today, but Sierra Rogers has put a halt to that pretty quickly. The 1-1 to Davis. Just off the plate, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. The leadoff hitting Davis. Bant is on deck with Carpenter in the hole for the Anderson Trojans. The 2-1. Davis chops it left side of third. Bailey scoops, throws to first. It's offline and it gets away. Trickles in the outfield. Davis races for second, and she'll stop right there. It's an error for Macaulay Bailey on the throw. It's a little outside of the reach of Brooklyn Lucero, and just like that, Anderson has a runner in scoring position. Here's Shelby Bant. 1 for 2 today. She had the bunt single, and then she reached on a walk in her last time at the plate. Carson-Newman's lead just 3. As Anderson looks to get on the board here late, make things difficult on Sierra Rogers. First pitch home to Shelby Bant. She squares the bunt, pulls back on a pitch that's just outside for ball 1. So if Bant can reach, that'll put the tying run at the plate. Maddie Carpenter standing on deck. Nobody out. Davis is on second. As Rogers lifts, fires the 1-0. Bant slaps it left side, foul over top of the Anderson dugout, and the count evens at a ball and a strike. What's at stake for these two squads? Carson-Newman looks to improve to 5-2 and get its 18th win of the season. Anderson, who's won just one of its first 6 South Atlantic Conference contests, looks to get a win today, and not only that, but keep a winning streak alive against Carson-Newman. The 1-1 is upstairs and outside, ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike to the 2-hole hitting Shelby Bant. Here in the bottom of the 7th, Carson-Newman leads 3-0, but Anderson, the runner in scoring position after a 2-base error. Rogers rocks and fires at 2-1. Bant dribbles it left side to Bailey. She checks on the runner at first. Now a throw to first is in time as Davis races to third. Bailey checked on Davis, but a wise play to go to first for the first out. So Davis races to third, but you'll certainly trade that if you're the Eagles to get the first out. Now you only need 2 more with Carpenter standing in from the right side. Cadence Barrick awaits. Lauren Brakovic in the hole for Anderson, but Rogers looking to retire the next 2 and get Carson-Newman out of this one. First pitch home to Carpenter. She rips it to left. Saunders on the run. She makes the play for out number 2. What a play by Addie Saunders in foul territory. Davis scores from third, but Saunders with a wonderful catch. And Carson-Newman needs 1 more out. That ball was blowing into foul ground, and Saunders was able to make the shoelace grab for the second out here in the 7th. Cadence Barrick stands in from the right side. First pitch to her is roped to center. Martin on the run. She snags it for the third and final out. Carson-Newman defeats Anderson, snapping a 5-game losing streak against the Trojans and avenging a season-ending loss last season. Carson-Newman improves to 18-9, 5-2 in conference play, and we'll look for another here in about 30 minutes as the Eagles win 3-1. I'll talk to you in just a little while as Carson-Newman and Anderson will square off for Game 2 in about 30 minutes right here on the Eagle Sports Network.